Hi, this is Mark from GroupTraders.com, and I'd like to show you a setup that we tend to take every morning during the London Open. I'm not going to go into all the details of the setup, but I'll show you the charts and I'll show you pretty much what we're looking for. We see that overnight during the Asian session, this is a 5-minute chart here, the cable is moving in the range and turns to the downside. The white line that you see here is a pivot point, and the prices just went straight through it. At 8:41 GMT, just before London opens at 9 GMT, see a bar or a long candle down followed by a candle up. At this point we look at the CCI, stochastics, and ultimate oscillator and the MACD. They're all pointing upwards, so we got a very low risk trade here. This is pretty much the lowest it's traded so far, so we enter this trade at 97.55, put our stop at 97.49 for a risk of 6 pips. By the way, we tend to take very small risks. Our stop losses are 6 to 7, sometimes 8 pips, on the basis that it's some kind of trend or mini trend always develops during the London Open, and it's better to spend 18 pips on trying it out 3 times till you get it right than putting a 20-30 pip stop loss and blowing it all on one trade. It's a lot cheaper that way, and often more often than not you get it right. Anyway, so we enter here. I'll just shift the chart to the right so you can see what happened next. On the 5-minute chart, a doji is formed at 8:40, giving us further confidence in the trade. We move to the right and you see the bars continue to rise pretty much uninterrupted from where we entered. We get a bit of consolidation here around this pivot line here, which we anticipate, so we're keeping an eye on it to see if this pivot line at 97.72 is going to be an obstacle. It does prove an obstacle for about 4 or 5 minutes, but eventually it just punches through it, goes up. At this point here, again we have a doji forming, so we keep an eye on this. We could exit here at 97.85, but we think maybe there's a bit more potential in it. We let it drop here, and what we're looking at here is the 10 moving average. And basically any close on the 1 minute below the 10 EMA, or the 10 moving average, sorry, as far as I'm concerned, it's the end of the trade, but it doesn't close beyond it. However, over here it attempts to break that previous high here, and it fails. At that point I think not much point in holding on to this, and we exit this trade around 97.85. in fact, we continue to watch this because I want to see if this is forming some sort of top, so we may be able to take a short now, and we follow it. And again we see here again it tries to hit to go beyond that double top on the 1 minute. If we look at the 5 minute, by this point we already have a doji here, and once again at 9:20 GMT we get pretty much another double top here. We go short here. Now when we go short, I expect on the 1 minute for the 10 moving average to be pierced pretty quickly, and it does, and in fact it continues to fall pretty much uninterrupted until we move against the 5-minute chart. It pretty much hits a double bottom, pretty much where we entered a bit earlier, and we exit here at 97.53. So we get another sort of 30 odd pips there. At that point I'm knackered, so I'll stop trading, but of course it could have continued here. In fact, we did have one other trade a bit later, just to show you. Went nice, which again pretty much our double bottom there. Went up, retraced down here, and at this point here, which if you draw a Fibonacci line here from to here, is pretty much the 23.6 retracement. So we did take a long here, and so lived through this choppiness here, brought our stop loss to break even, and eventually when the equity pre-market opens 1340 around 1340 GMT, the Dow and S&P started tanking a pretty quick rise, which unfortunately didn't take 30 pips here too. So this is pretty much what we do every day, and whereas I've shown you some of the indicators, a lot of it is staying alert and known and focused, and these are the type of calls that we call in room. Alright, thank you very much. It's Mark from CrewTraders.com.